So to demonstrate pull starting, it's been sitting for a couple of days, and we're just going to pull start it. There you have it. Second pull and we're good to go. So that's a relief to know that you don't have to have batteries. You actually can pull start the thing. We've always had plenty of power, but a good backup. Look at all those jellies. See how beautifully light that is? Love this engine. I want to cover anything else that hasn't been covered elsewhere, including especially structural stuff on the boat. One of the important things to know is that the centerboard should be buoyant, and I have them in the down position. So if you look right here, you can see this is the axle, and when I release the centerboard, did you see that? Did you hear that? It spun up, so that means that the centerboard is buoyant on this side. So I'll go to the other side. And this one is currently in the down position as well, so you want to see this spinning when you release it. And you can hear that coming up as well. Okay, so both the center boards are buoyant, which is what you need to know about that. Let's go into the cockpit here. This is the split backstay, which has a chafe point right here, which I protected with this piece of plastic tubing, and there are no snags in there at all. So this is well protected and it's not a problem. Okay. This is a gizmo to adjust the traveler, and it works great. You lock it in either side. Okay, the gauges here. So, let's do the engine first here. Okay, so you can raise and lower. I think you can hear it going. Okay, and I'll demonstrate that it starts right up. There we go. Straightforward. very little noise. The Windex is working, the direction and the wind speed. Here's our depth, speed over ground, where it docks so it's not moving. The autopilot currently in standby. I'll go to auto here, and you can hear it engage. And there's the wheel. Okay, back to standby. Also shows the water temperature from the paddle wheel, which also has the temperature sensor on it. Let's go to gauges and numbers, and this shows the fuel tank level. I don't have any fuel in this one, and the level of the water tanks as well. The winches turn freely, self-tailing winches, and as you can see are 2-speed. They work just fine. These are the brand new covers on the windows, so they should last an extremely long time. Coming forward here, I haven't found any broken strands in any of the rigging whatsoever. The chain plates, the covers for the connectors here are brand new. There's no leaking to the inside. There's 2 bolt holes. The lifelines are brand new. I installed these myself. 2 anchors. Here's the lightweight Fortress. Just a couple of pounds sits on the front, and the 15 kilogram Rockna that's on 120 feet of 5/8 chain. I added this. This is a shackle to connect jack lines to. There's nothing here before I put that in. The furler is working just fine. You can see this is plenty tight. There's no movement in it whatsoever. And I also replaced all 4 of these boats. Let's talk about the all-important galley. Let's see, first off we have AC outlets. This is the GFI protected one on this side. And there's another right here which has 2 USB ports on it in addition to the 2 AC ports. Let's see, lots of storage in here. These are bins that are cockroach proof. So we don't keep anything in paper on the boat. We have no cockroaches, no insects at all. That's a beautiful thing. This has been a lifesaver. Lots of storage for fresh fruits and vegetables out where you can see them so they don't get rotten and not eaten. Really love having those things visible, so you just have them right at hand. This is the knife rack. I'm very proud of this. It keeps it all out of the way, but really close at hand. Here is absolutely every tool that we've ever needed, and you can see it's not much. So it's simple and clean and really efficient. Nothing in there that's going to rust, by the way. Here is the utensils drawer, and down here is more kinds of stuff, measuring cups and backup cups and things like that. This side we use for more storage. There are storage containers and stacking cups and mugs and things in there as well. A cutting board down here. This locker, this is the really big one. Plenty of space down here and also over this way. This is also where the water filter for the fresh water is. And there's an extra cartridge with this. Okay, so an extra cartridge with the water filter. Okay, for the filtered water is in there. Okay, this locker is about an arm's length deep. It goes all the way as deep as the settee is in there. And okay, the sink here, filtered water of course, and fresh, so you can have either hot water if you want, or if you come down here and turn this knob, then you can pump with your foot here to have raw water, seawater, coming out of this. So you simply switch that, pump here, and you'll have seawater there to save on fresh water, or down here for cold water. Brand new range with a heat shield on this side. You could put one back there, I suppose, if you wanted to. which opens up all this space down here. So here's all the dishes, pots and pans, and a wonderful, absolutely wonderful Magma cook set. So when you're working at the galley here, it's very easy to just be popping your trash right in here. It's very quick. And to reach over this way to get to the refrigerator. This refrigerator works fantastic. I'm really pleased with it. So it's either AC or propane. And the freezer here, as you can see, there's plenty of ice in there. It works just fine. So no problems with that at all. I've just took and cleaned out, it's 18 years old now, 19 years old, and I just gave it a servicing and back there, so it's clean and good to go now. Okay, so this is what the table looks like when it's all set up. You can see there's easy seating for 4 people there. We just love that, and you can set up the lighting however you want. There's overhead light here if you wish, and more light here from the sides, okay, and also fans that you can turn and tip those in whatever direction you'd like, okay, for extra cooling through here. When you're working at the galley, of course, you can direct this however you want, and you also have good airflow from this way, so it keeps the heat down in the galley. Anything else, I think? Okay, that does it. Thank you. Unboxing the Salon. All right, this is the, I absolutely love this table. I did such a good job on that. Anyway, it comes out really easily. There you go. And set that over there. Comes out real easily. And okay, I'll show you what's under here. This is a storage compartment, and you have a big monitor should you have the occasion to do that. Anyway, you could set this up and put it on the table and have, you know, I don't know, movie night or something like that if you wanted to do that in the salon here. So that fits right into here very neatly, and it walks into place by that, so it doesn't move around when you're underway. This is actually a pretty big space. Lee has a clarinet in here, and paints and art supplies and all kinds of good stuff is in there. Anyway, there's a pretty big space under here, as you can see. So it's pretty deep and all that. Anyway, it's very nice. It's just like that. That goes in there. And we take the table. Right there, and there you have it. Now you got a huge playpen in here. Whoa, that's just great. You could really sleep, I don't know, so many people. You could have 3 in here if you wanted, you know, 2 up there, 2 back there. Anyway, we've used this a couple of times, and it was fun. I think when we had all the girls on board, that was the last time we used this. Anyway, it's a beautiful big space here, and plenty comfortable. This is the master berth, and I'll start over here. This is a mirror that we've added that really makes the appearance of the space inside much bigger. This is a 1 by 4 foot mirror. Lots of storage space in here, counter space as well. So storage space here. These are all drawers that open up like this. Okay, including this kind as well. Back here, this is a space that's this deep for shoes, is what I keep in there. An electrical outlet with a couple of USBs in there as well, AC. Back here is an absolutely massive storage space. I could easily climb in there. In the very back, you can see is the Watermaker there. Okay, and this has lighting in it as well, like that. So this is another really deep storage space. I can't even reach the back of it. So lots of space in there, and lighting in here as well. Okay. The mattress is 4-inch thick memory foam, and we found this thing is just perfect. No problems with this whatsoever. Over here is another big and deep storage space. And coming over this way, there's a fan. And in addition, you've got the hatch that blows air in here, the fan to blow in this way, a regular DC outlet and USB DC outlet. And over here is another AC outlet with 2 USB ports on it as well. This is the cable to suspend the PC that we use for watching Netflix and whatnot at night. And we normally just connect to this Bluetooth speaker, just sets right there. So it's a really great space for that. For privacy, you can close these as well. These are brand new, by the way. Or leave them open for air circulation this way. Plenty of light in here as well. And there are more storage spaces here. So storage space there, lit, and another one down here. Wonderful hatch, so good airflow in here if it gets steamy inside. That's really nice. There's a full-size mirror here, about 4 feet or so. So plenty to work with there. Lots of storage space. All this has been redone and repainted. A new sink faucet. This is the switch for the whale pump, which drains the shower. New outlets here. Towel bars. This is the composting head, which I've covered in another video. And everything inside has been painted fresh. So fresh paint here. This is all brand new. New fixture here as well. It's in beautiful condition. This is the port ama, and beautiful book rack here, including waterway guides, chart manuals, weather guides, world cruising routes, documentation, logs, etc. all in here. Plenty of storage space above and below, as well as plenty more in here. Here's a vacuum, a DC vacuum. This is a very deep locker in here. This side is where we keep winches and the handle for the center boards. This is a really big locker. We have 2 batteries in here, 2 of the 4 batteries in here. Extra cables and power supplies for various instruments around. A portable SSB receive-only radio. A printer, a portable printer. And manuals. I have so many manuals here. You are covered as far as manuals go. In the nav station, binoculars, of course, radio, flashlights. These are underwater dive flashlights, which are extremely bright. Can't have too many flashlights. 2 VHF radios. These are floating VHF radios. They work just great. Chargers for them. And lots of extra batteries. Things like magnifying glasses, etc. Down below is the inverter and the solar controller. So showing that to you from the inside here. This is a brand new sine wave Xantrex 1000 watt inverter. And this is the shunt, which everything is connected to properly, as you can see. which allows you to know exactly how many amp hours you have discharged out of the batteries. The batteries are essentially new. I just checked the levels on them. They're perfect with the hygrometer. And the cabling here, all the wires are labeled. I've gone to great lengths to make sure everything is understandable. There's an A/B switch that's right here, which is easy to feel what position that it's in. And lastly, the bilge. As you can see, just the way it ought to be. It's perfectly dry down here. This is the whale pump for the shower, and it is brand new as well. All the cabling is now on top rather than in the water. And of course, the brand new floorboards. Okay, that does it for the port side. This is the port aft guest berth. And as you can see, this is a double bed in here. I really love this space. It's a space that you can close off from the rest of the boat, and a door to close is a great thing. There's good ventilation with ports on both sides, as well as a fan over here. That works great. Once again, a fan you can stick your hand into without being hurt. And great lighting in here. This is really bright at night. You can read by this light, no problem at all. Overhead, more of these storage bins like we have in the tool shed, tool bin site. So lots of storage space up there. And a drawer for art supplies, whatever you might like. Another over here, which is plenty big for lots of things. If you wanted to set up a table in here, it's actually pretty easy to do. We've done it before. It fits right in this area. Then you have your own private workspace, an art center, whatever it is you'd want to do. This is a hanging locker. And the solar controller is also in here as well. Anyway, absolutely love this space. It's really great. Oh, down here. So the water tank is right here, or the second water tank, as well as this is where we keep an electric heater and also a propane heater. And you can see that this is not occupied by the old water heater that ran off the engine anymore. So there's all this space is now freed up because we have a much more efficient heating system. That does it for here. This is the starboard aft berth, which everybody uses for a tool bin. Good LED lighting in here. These are hooks for hanging wet jackets, umbrella, something like that. Storage space here. Nice big drawer. Right here is access to, you can see the level of your water tank. This is the old through hole that I have capped off. Extra hoses, gaskets, that kind of thing. This is the through hole, which you can see works perfectly. And it's a very simple arrangement. Just coming through here to a filter, to the lift pump for the Watermaker, or this way. I'm not using it right now, but this would go to the galley sink, for hot water to the galley sink. And this is the pump to the air conditioner. Very simple, plenty of room. Over here is the bilge pump, and here's a manual bilge pump or a drop-in one here. And in the back you can see this is all the tools that I described in a different video, but everything fits here, and there's lots of room. You can store the bicycles here if you want, or up on the bow, whichever way you like. Okay, over here we have a fire extinguisher and the control for the LED lights. Overhead are all of these storage containers. So there's lots and lots of storage overhead, which is easy to access. More storage here, here, here. And this is a hanging locker. So plenty of space there. And this is where we usually hang the trash bag for the galley. Oh, and of course the documentation number for the vessel. Let's proceed with the unboxing of the starboard stern locker here. All right. This is it. And first thing you see is the propane heater. Keep it turned all the way down, and there is a shut-off switch inside of the propane locker itself. And also there's a switch, electric switch, a patio heater tip-over switch that I've installed here, so that there's no way that it can start without having both the propane on and it being vertical to be able to vent the heat out like this. There's also a propane sensor here. You just turn that on and that'll sense if there's any propane in this area whatsoever, an ignition risk. But anyway, we've been using it like this for the longest time, and it is really, really great. I just love this thing. So there it goes, and now we have hot water. So I take a shower here all the time, and this is also long enough to reach into the cockpit, so if you want to shower there you can do that. But I like to get wet here, soap up, rinse off with this, the warm water, and you know, we're good to go. This will get hotter than you really can stand if you want it. Okay, let's see. This is a handy thing. I just love this. It's a collapsible bucket, which has served us really great in all kinds of things, and love the fact that it collapses. There's a couple of collapsible hoses as well, and some suction devices to stick on the side of the hull so that when you're scrubbing things down you can have a good grip with that, and some brushes and things like that in there as well. So that's great. So you've got a 5-gallon bucket, a smaller bucket, hoses, and clamps to hang on the side of the hull if you want to do that. Okay, this is our electric supply here, and I've got this is a 50-foot 30-amp hose. The amperage for the boat is 30 amp. I've just replaced the inlet, by the way. So 50 feet of that. This is a 50 amp to 30 amp connector, which we had to use once because they had to put us on a pier that only had 50 amps, so that came in handy. And under this is something else that's come in handy, if I can find it. This thing here. So this converts from 30 amp down to your standard kind of outlet. So all these different kinds of adapters have been really handy. Underneath this 30 amp cable is your regular 110, okay, 15 amp I guess it is, with these connectors on it. So you can, in a pinch if you had to, you wouldn't want to run any heavy loads through it, but this has served us in a pinch before. Plus various kinds of extension cords and things in there as well. Okay, so that's great. And I love that it fits into this box and you can keep it dry with the cover on top of it. This is the foot pump for the dinghy. And this is small stuff and this is short stuff. So we've got bungee cords and things in there, and a bunch of all different kinds of small stuff. On the bottom here, once again, you can see that there's the raised floor, and down under there you can't see it right here, but that's where you can drop a pump in to pump this out, should you need to do that, which you will at some point. Okay, this here is the access to the steering mechanism. Okay, so this is the cable that we replaced down in the Bahamas, down in Georgetown. So this is brand new, just what is that, 2 years ago? I guess 2 years ago. And this thing moves just perfectly, so it's just one fingertip to move it. The rudders move perfectly. This goes over to the engine, and oh, this raises and lowers the rudders. I don't think you can see much of this here, but anyway, this is probably one of the first tasks that I did, which was to replace the bungees in here to keep all the rudder raising and lowering mechanism working like it ought to. That was quite a chore, but anyway, it's done now. And if you have an older boat, this is probably rotten and it probably needs to be replaced. Anyway, the point is there's a good line in there now, and everything is working just beautifully, just the way it ought to. It's a gorgeous thing the way it is now. It's done. Anything else back here? Oh, here's the ladder. Okay. And this thing works great. No problems with that whatsoever. I think that does it. All right, on we go. Unboxing the port transom locker. We have 3 5-gallon jugs for gasoline and a manual fuel gauge, a hook for a gaff, and in this bin are fuels additives like Yamaha ring-free oil. We have TCW3 over here for the outboard, and there's gear oil and motor oil, filters, a jiggler to be able to transfer gasoline into the gas tank without doing any siphoning, and other kinds of additives. This one is completely empty, and over here these are snubbers. They work really great. I've used these a couple of times and they've been really invaluable. So some good quality snubbers here. Oh my God, I love this hammock. 6 feet of bliss. Ah. 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 Okay, let's carry on. Gotta have a hammock. Okay, this is the propane locker, and okay, what's significant back here? 2 tanks, 40 pounds of propane, Acme fitting. I just put a brand new one on, and let's see if you can get down here to show the manifold that I created. So this is the solenoid. These 2 are before the regulator. Okay, so here we have the barbecue and the space heater, and then the regulator, and then after the regulator is the range, the refrigerator, and the water heater. Okay, we don't need the water heater on, so just the refrigerator and the range are now on there. Beautiful arrangement. I'm very proud of that. Okay, let's go to the next one, and this is where the diesel engine used to be, so you can just picture how tight that was, and why I replaced it. Also noisier than anything. It's just so nice to have that outboard now. Okay, so lots of space. This is where you could easily put a freezer, an Engel freezer. Fits in here just perfectly. I measured it out, got it all designed. You could drop it in there. The power for it, I'm not sure where it is. Maybe this is it. Anyway, it's nearby. Okay. And then in this one, we've got adhesives and sealants and lubricants of various kinds. So you need 5200 on board. Here's your Bow Shield T9 for the bicycles and things. This is, if you should get a puncture in the hole, this is probably one of the most efficient things that you can find to plug up a hole. Okay, all kinds of various lubricants. 5200's in there. Oh, of course you have to have Tef gel on board, so that's right here already. Okay, stuff that you need is here. This is our ditch bin, so, and a list of things to grab in case something should go wrong. But all these things are brand new. These flares, you can see the expiration dates I've marked on there already. There's some lights and things. And anyway, you can, of course, make your own ditch bin. For sure, improve on what it is that we've done. But anyway, ditch bin is there, ready to go. And this is mostly fishing stuff. So a big scaling knife. This is a box of tackle and some vinyl tape. And these things are, you put clothesline on that, and this is what Lee has actually caught lots of good fish on this, down in the Bahamas especially. So just a simple clothesline attached with a cedar plug and you're good to go. And this is a machete for opening coconuts, okay? And, all right, what else? Goes back. Coming down here, these are a couple extra floor planks that are the flooring inside the boat. You could probably get rid of them. This is extra of the shade canopy. There's a video on that. So I think there's enough here to make the whole thing all over again if you wanted to do that. 2 fishing poles, a short sturdy one and a longer one. This is the handle for the fishing net. And this is a very high quality spear gun. If you look this up online, you'll see that Mako makes one of the best that anybody does out here. So it's a very high quality thing. Okay, over here, a bosun's chair. What you have to have, going up the mast with a bag on it. And this thing it's in great shape. It's only a couple years old. And what do you have here? Oh, I think this is for the topping lift. I intended to replace that topping lift one time. What do we have here? Guess what? I think that this is the a new set of for the sheets. So just one long run instead of the 2 short ones that we have here, you know, and a little bit smaller diameter. Anyway, it seems to me that that was on sale and I got it and haven't gotten around to doing it yet. This is a spare prop for the dinghy, and this is a spare prop for the engine, but this is the standard prop. It's not the high thrust prop that we have on there now. Anyway, it's okay for a backup. Okay, so you have a backup prop. And let's see. Oh, and the floor here is once again this raised floor so that any water that collects can drain out to the back of it. There's a hole back here, right there, that water can drain out of. And let's see, hand me the camera. And yeah, here we go. Okay, right up here, you can see, there we go. All right. So these are the lines to the windlass if you wanted to have the windlass put here. So the purpose of this, you just snip this off, but these are the wires that would be used for turning it on and off, so the control for it, and also your heavy gauge lines that go there. So the electronics would be here on the dry side, and you would put the motor on the other side. That was my thinking as to terminating it there. You could make it longer if you wanted to. There's plenty of line here to do that. You can see it comes all the way around. Okay, let's see. And here you can see this is where the waste tank used to be, so it opens up all this extra room over here. The boat came with Watermaker. It's been used maybe 100 hours or something like that. And when I got the boat, it was disassembled. When I was in the Bahamas, met up with a great guy I told I had a Watermaker, and he said, well, let's make it run, you know. And I said, oh my God, I'm so intimidated by this thing. It's just way too much for me. Anyway, he said, no, it's easy. So anyway, we did put this together, and it ran great. Okay, so it's very simple. You've got pre-filters here. The lift pump you already saw inside of the boat in the starboard side. So a pump, and by the way, this is exactly the same pump that they're still selling today. It's blue instead of this color, but when you look at it, you'll see that it's precisely the same thing. Then a high pressure line, okay, that connects from the pump to this. So this is a gauge that shows you how much pressure you have. Normally run at about 900. This is what adjusts the pressure here. Okay, you turn this screw and that does it. This is the pressure vessel. The one that was originally on the boat was 39 inches. I think this is 27 or something like that. So this fits much more neatly in the boat. So this is a new pressure vessel, brand new. Have not used it yet. As well as a brand new untouched membrane. Okay, the one that we did the experiments with was the ancient one that was on the boat, which actually worked just fine. After sitting unpickled for at least a decade, it still performed just fine. So this is at the other end of the pressure vessel there, and then you want to direct it into whichever tank that you want to send it to. So the port or the starboard tank, etc. So various valves for that. And rebuild kits here, so washers, extra belt, total dissolve solids meter if you want that, and a little more hardware. This is a flow meter